Welcome to the Live Loving live stream with Jhon Davis. Well, hello everyone, and welcome to the Live Loving live stream here in the fabulous Jhon of New Studios. I hope you guys are doing well out there in the world. It's been lovely being here all these weeks before, but now let's get into tonight. I want to hop over and say hello to people who are here. I haven't been very, here's Johnny. Thank you there, Larry. I saw that. Let me go back to the top, see who we have in the house. First of all, everyone, be careful. My sister Patty's in the house, so she'll take you out. And then, of course, Chitra will keep us on the correct time. Thank you for being here. I love you, Chitra. Hello, Keith. How are you? Hope you're good today. Bright Love, of course. Ashley, make sure you go over and you subscribe to Bright Love's channel and to Marcy's channel and get one of those free readings from Marcy. Make sure you get over and do that. We jump down. James Prentice, I will come back to your question in just a second. Pleasure to see you. And you guys, everyone, look at James Prentice's comment way up on the screen. It's in all capital letters. The reason I knew that was a question or a comment is because it was in all capital letters. It makes it much easier for me to see them when they are in all capital letters, because there's a lot of conversations that go on in the chat, and the all caps really make it helpful. Also, if you are watching this live and you're trying to get a hold of me or type something for me to answer, if you're typing in the comments section below the video, I do not see any of those until after the live stream is done. I take everything from the actual chat box next to the window. Hold on. So let me move here. Let's see. Mackenzie, welcome back. Maxine, how are you this evening? I hope you're doing well. Pamela Collins. Okay, I'll get to that question in just a second. Welcome. Jump down, see if I missed anybody else that's commented so far. Maria, welcome. Scott, welcome. Larry, the man, is here. Kim Jacobs from Indiana. I'm in Ohio, so we're not that far apart. Dream Detective Kate, hello, how are you? Okay. Oh, Keith Rothwell, thank you so much for that. Honestly, the stuff really does keep a roof over my head, so I appreciate it. Sarah Kay, welcome. Okay. Jenny Brown, my cousin Jenny Brown is in the house. Everyone, make sure that if you're in this region, you've got to go to Jenny Brown's yoga class, because she's the rockin' yoga instructor here in Akron, Ohio. Susan Saunders, welcome. Lady Jane, no ponder. I will catch up with the rest of you. I'm going to go back up and start these questions, because if I don't, we'll never get over this thing. Let's go to that first one at the very top. What would Jeshua ben Joseph think about the world seeing him on a cross symbol instead of being an enlightened teacher? That's a great question. Let me put it up here so everyone else can see it too. Oh, my cursor's on the wrong one. There it is. Boom. There. What would be, okay? You know, Jeshua was an amazing man, and when he went to the cross, it was literally about him trying to get the teachings out into the world and trying to end the Roman authority and the Jewish authorities' belief that teaching was continuing. They saw him as the face of his teachings, and they thought if he was gone, that it would end the teachings. But what he did was he sent all his disciples all over the world. Now, I don't know, I think it would be kind of vain for me to say I know what he would have thought about something, but I know it would be antithetical to everything he taught, because he never declared himself the Messiah, in the Bible he calls himself the Son of Man, not the Son of God. They say, "Are you the King of the Jews?" He says, "It's you that say I am." They asked him if he's the Messiah. He said, "No." The only real reference, someone says, "Are you the one?" And they say he said, "I am," but he never said, "Yes, I, Jeshua ben Joseph, am the Messiah." He never declared himself a Messiah, and so when he was teaching, it was all about, love one another, your fellow man. Whatsoever you do to the least of my brothers, that you do unto me. The living basically the golden rule. Treat others as you would like to be treated, and to become a symbol of a cross, of a cadaver on a cross, and use as a symbol of fear and guilt to bring followers into that. He wouldn't have liked that at all, I don't think, and I'm sure he would have really seriously been bothered by it, because none of it's, in my mind, none of it's really that loving. It's all very fearful and judgmental, and it's a power play in some form. So that's my thought on that, James. I hope that answers your question, or at least it gives you a perspective on it. Let me jump down. I saw another one down here. Several psychics and intuitives have said there is something not right about the election. Do you feel this? Or are they in the state? Honestly, it is what it is. I'm not a prophet, and I don't prophesy. And I have heard psychics say this. I've heard psychics say, a very famous psychic say that this is the downfall of humanity. I've seen horrific things said. I know that the future is not set in any way, shape, or form. As far as this election is concerned, I think honestly we're going to survive it no matter what. And I think that if it really is something about the election, I'm sure they're going to be looking into this election and the last election for decades and generations. And, if they find something, it'll be a very interesting experience. But quite honestly, they'll have to find it within the next couple months to be able to do anything about it. But at this point, I would say focus on you making your part of the world as bright as you possibly can. I wouldn't be looking for a conspiracy theory until someone finds a conspiracy theory, because the longer you are saying, or we are saying, there's something wrong with this situation, we're not focused on creating a loving world. Mother Teresa said she would never go to an anti-war rally. She said, have a pro-peace rally and I'll come. Looking for all of the stuff is trying to fight it. And I think that we can do more loving things to change our world. And I can think, there's a video I recently did, there's peaceful non-compliance. There's all kinds of things you can do. But I think that you're going down pathways until there's any evidence of anything. You're just speculating and going down pathways. And you have to remember that every psychic and every intuitive that you will ever see in life is filtering through their own personal belief system. And a lot of psychics and intuitives are very, very democratic, and they see this as much more, and they read things into things. And so I think that, could there be truth in it? Sure. Could there not be truth in it? Sure. I think that we can only deal with what we actually do know. And if you don't have any means of being able to actually investigate it yourself, then in reality, you should be focused on making your part of the world as bright as you possibly can. That's my thought on it. And I hope that helps. Sometimes I know you probably wanted me to give you more of a psychic thing, but I'm not a psychic and I'm not a prophet. I live in the I am moment. People say, "Are you new age or old age?" And I said, "I'm present age." So I hope that answers your question. I hope that doesn't upset you. And anyway, okay, let me jump down. Once again, I'm going to remind you guys, Marcy's about to hit 3,000. Get one of her free readings. I'll go over there and enter to win one anyway. Jumping down. Let's see if we have any more questions or topics before we dive any further. Jumping down. You guys are always so fast. I have to try to play catch up and come down. Jumping down. Oh, yeah. Eric Ventura, I didn't say hi to you. Hello, Corvin. Hello, welcome to you. Teachers, timeout. Hello, welcome, welcome, welcome. Mind Control. That's a fun name. Hello there. Dream Detective already said hi. Tritark has arrived. LLC. Thank you, LLC, for being here. Pink Lady. Pink Lady, I think I just answered that question above. I'm not a psychic or a reader like that. I am a present moment person who will help you create something new and better in the world. But I think that when we go down those pathways of conspiracy, unless we have the means of actually finding it ourselves, I don't think you should take anybody's opinion on it because, like I said, oftentimes people will read what they want to read. Patty Mellowship, welcome. You're about to meet some of the most beautiful people in our chat. We have the most loving and caring people. For those of you who are new coming tonight, I want you to know this is a safe place. We treat each other with respect and kindness. We never try to troll here. And if you do try to troll here, Marcy and Ashley, my pit bulls of the chat board, will take you out, and I will be very happy to help them if they need me to. We don't judge here. We don't in any way, shape, or form call names here. We don't use profanity while I'm on my channel. You'll notice the past few days I did a couple of videos, and if you read the chats, they're all pretty kind. You guys didn't get to see the 40% of the profanity-laden things that were aimed at me and to people who didn't believe as they do. I literally spent that entire day after the election on my computer hiding people from the channel because of the horrific things they were saying about you and me and anybody who didn't believe as they do. So I wanted to make sure you knew that my channel is a safe place. I don't take any of that stuff personally. I just laugh and giggle as I hide them from the channel. And so make sure that you understand if you're here to say something harmful or fearful, I will help you in some way, shape, or form. Break your fear if you'd like. But if you're just here to be fearful or troll, we will take you out. No ponder. What does it mean that everything has consciousness? Does a rock, an atom? Oh, I love those. That's a magnificent question. Thank you, No Ponder. I love those kind of questions. Right now, as you're wherever you are in this world, there's a wall near you probably. That wall that you look at is made of atoms. What are atoms? Atoms are just an energy event. But when you look at that wall, you come to realize that the air is also made of atoms between you and that wall, and that your eyes are also made of the atoms that make up that wall. When you look at this illusion of belief that we live in, it's just an energy event in motion. You know why I say that? Because that's what Einstein called atoms, an energy event in motion. But when I look at these atoms in this world, what do I see? I see the image of God, the universe, consciousness itself. The Hindus talk about the Sit and the Sit Sat Ki. We are the individual sparks of consciousness within the Sit Sat Ki. And that everything that you are looking at here is consciousness itself. And though we may not fully be aware of how much consciousness is in this consciousness, I personally think it's infinite. That's why I think it's ridiculous to think that we're alone in this giant universe, because I think that there's life teeming everywhere. They recently chipped into the ice of Antarctica and they found bacteria living there, live, moving in the ice. It really comes down to understanding that everything that we're experiencing is life itself. But where we tend to lose a little bit of our ideas about this is that we tend to look at it through the lens of a finite world. We walk through the valley of the shadow of death, right? It's the shadow of death. It's the illusion that we can die. So not only is this energy event in motion, this energy event is in motion infinitely. So, yeah, do I think that there's consciousness in everything? I think everything is consciousness itself. And it comes through the awareness of our own self and our own consciousness that lets us create things into our world. And when you look at it from the perspective of that, you come to find out that, yeah, the world is in motion with me and I am the energy as well. You know, that idea that your eyes are also the atoms, what are you? You're just your consciousness. This is just the illusion of what we believe. Negative people will see a negative world because they believe the world is negative. And so they'll create a more negative world. And so it comes down to understanding that we can create the world around us. And there's going to be some people who aren't going to be so positive, and they're just going to be negative. I talk about them in several other videos I've done about going to dinner with a guy who said he hated the place. As I said, I love the place. We sat at the same table. I had a fantastic meal, had a fantastic waitress. He had a bad meal and a bad waitress, and it was the same waitress. And it really comes down to, we can't save the world, but we can make our part of the world so beautiful that the world chooses to save itself around us. That means we're affecting the consciousness of the experience around us. We have that ability. Oh, LLC, thank you so much for the super sticker. I know you guys, as you guys are just coming in, you're going to realize I am way behind you in the chat because I am really looking at a screen and going through the screen. But you guys are like booking down the road here. So thank you, LLC, for the super sticker. That does help a great deal. Shiba dog shouting good luck. Oh, oh. It's probably one of those emojis that I don't get to see. For you guys who are just popping in, this is what an emoji looks like me. It looks like to me. Sure. Where do I live? How long have I been doing this? Well, Charles, this is an interesting question. I live in Ohio. I'm from originally Rehoboth Beach, Delaware. I had my first regression in 1999. I have been on a spiritual path doing work ever since. So I've been working like this for about 25 years. There was a hiatus in the middle where I did it in a different way, not so overtly. Yeah, I've been doing this for a very long time. I came back to the work again during COVID, actually. And that's when I actually started the YouTube channel. And it's been just a magnificent experience. And please, guys, if you're going to put up questions, please put them in all caps because it does make my life much easier. Yeah. When people tell you they think this something negative, they think it because they've chosen to believe that. I don't in any way, shape, or form think that. I think that we can create a beautiful world, and we may have some bumps in the road, but I think in the end, those bumps are just the hiccups and the growing pains of creating a joyful, loving, inclusive world. That's my question. That's my answer to that one. Oh, Benjamin Boyce, thank you for that lovely comment. It's funny. I was telling someone today, I work about 60 to 70 hours a week. I do private sessions with people all week long. In that, I have to make videos for the YouTube. And by the way, excuse the videos for the next few days. The audio is still screwed up in those videos. I'm clipping. I recently changed cameras, and it's not the camera, it's the user error. And so it'll be a little bit of bad audio for a few days. And then you'll start having really good audio because I figured out the settings. So, thank you, Benjamin Boyce, for finding me. I appreciate that. Let me go. Theo Gutenberg, you are quite welcome. It is an absolute pleasure. My goal in life is to be a place for people to find their divinity, their power within. And for me, it's all about the idea of continuing Jeshua's teachings, literally, showing you that you are the creator, greater works than I have done, you will do. And ye are gods, love one another, as Teacher's Timeout just said. for me, it's all about continuing the teachings, and I think it's honestly, I think it's the same thing that Jhon of old did as well. Because Jhon of old, that was his whole life was continuing the teaching. Jhon, what's your take on DJT being the Antichrist as described in the Bible, and what advice do you give those frozen in fear believing that? What a great question. Well, I'm going to debunk it right away. The Antichrist in the Bible is mentioned in a couple spots, one by Paul and one by Jhon. The book of Revelations was written to send messages out to the Christian communities, the churches. They weren't called Christians at that time, to warn them to stay faithful to the teachings despite the potential danger of Rome. They aren't prophecy of our time. There is not prophecy of our time. The other one was written by Paul. He mentioned it a couple times. And Paul, he was an apocalyptic preacher who thought everything that was going to happen in his lifetime. So that was 2,000 years ago. So the Antichrist being a prophetic thing in the future or in our time is not biblical. It's not actually factual. It's not something that they thought. They didn't think it was happening so far down the line. The other thing is what is Christ? Christ means the anointed one. It means the Messiah. Jeshua didn't think he was a Christ. And what is an antichrist? An anti-anointed one? So to me, it comes down to, is DJT the Antichrist? I think DJT personally is an immoral individual, and I think he's done a lot of bad things. And I don't think he represents the teachings of Jeshua in any way, shape, or form. That's my personal opinion. I am not in any way, shape, or form telling anybody else to take that opinion. I'm not knocking you down if you don't have that opinion. That is my personal opinion from my witnessing what he's done, and seeing the juries of his peers say so. Is he an antichrist? I don't believe in an antichrist. I also don't believe in a Christ. So for me, for those people who are frozen in fear, and I love this. I did a video the day after specifically for those people. And what it is, first of all, remember, fear is in the present moment is just an emotional reaction. But it's an emotional reaction to the past experiences and an expectation of something negative that might happen in the future. In the present moment, it is just an emotional reaction. And you can control that reaction by simply exhaling, because the primal fight or flight to fear, the primal reaction to fear, is to draw air into our lungs and hold it. All you can do is control your reaction. But when you feel that fear, that anxiety, your chest will get tight, your shoulders will rise. You'll have this experience of feeling uncomfortable. You'll feel tight. That's because you're holding air in your body. Exhale, let the air out. Just don't think about anything else in that moment. Think about in that precise moment. All you feel is relaxed. Make a fully relaxing moment in the now. And the next moment, when you have a chance to exhale again. Make another fully relaxed present moment in the now. And the more of those fully relaxed present moments you create, you're creating a subconscious mind that's filled with fully relaxed, fearless moments. The Buddha said the secret to enlightenment is the eradication of fear. And fear is just an emotional reaction in the present moment. So if you can take this moment and just fully relax, let the air out. They don't call it the breath of God for no reason. I did a thing today where, can you hear me? Something's happening over here. Am I still recording? Did I lose you guys for some reason? Am I still there? Hello? Okay, good. I just watched my my YouTube channel over here on my other iPad. Just started the whole stream over again for some reason. I don't know what that's about. Okay, good. Anyway, I guess I'll just turn that off and keep going here. Thank you for letting me know. Anyway, back to the top. It's going to that love. You have the control of love in your life. You know, the Sufis say that God's on one side of a veil and we're on the other side of the veil, and our life is to struggle against the veil, and the veil is our fear. Well, struggle is a subjective experience. We choose to struggle. Two guys can walk into the gym on leg day, and one guy can say, I hate leg day. This is terrible. And he tries to lift a bunch of weights and do a bunch of stuff. He walks out cussing because his legs hurt. Next guy walks in and says, hey, it's leg day. I love leg day. My legs grow on leg day. And he walks over, lifts the same weights, does the same reps, and walks out of the gym saying, wow, my legs are growing. Look, feel how tight they feel. That's the growth that's coming. To struggle is a subjective experience. And in that subjective experience, we choose it. We choose to struggle. We choose to be fearful. And in that choice, we will experience it because that's what we're choosing to put belief in. I'm trying to get back up to where I was in the chat board. Okay, there it is. Gotcha. Now I'm back. Yes, and yes, here you go. Another opportunity for growth. Something has happened. Something has happened in the world. Many of us don't like it. But we can react in fear, and which means we've shut off our cognitive reasoning. Or we can exhale, and we can go, okay, what do we do next? Now, I think I am a political junkie, right? So, I'm a political junkie, and I look at this election in very, very unique ways. That story I tell about Mother Teresa and the anti-war rally, I think a large percentage of the population was voting anti-Trump. Well, that means they're putting all their focus on Trump, right? I also think that one of the things that Donald Trump had in his favor was that he spoke very plainly to the majority of the country. Let me give you an example. Kamala, who I loved and adored, and I really wanted her to be our president, Kamala would say, I am fighting price gouging. Now, to Joe Schmo and his wife, they don't care about the word price gouging. How DJT would have said that is, the economy is doing pretty good, but boy, you're really getting screwed on the prices of groceries and eggs, aren't you? I'm going to go kick the butts of those people who are doing that to you. One of them was a very plastic, political, afraid to offend comment. The other one went straight to the person and defended them. So it really comes down to, one side was really good at not only manipulating fear, but also showing people how they would be their defenders against that fear. The other side was talking peace, love, and joy, which I love it, but I don't think they were talking directly to the people. The whole argument that the economy was the issue. The economy we have right now is greater, is the best it's ever been in over 50 years. Even better than any time during Obama's reign, which was great, and DJT's reign. It is the best it has ever been in 50 years. But people are like, the economy sucks because the price of eggs are high. And had she come at it from saying, yeah, the economy is at the highest it's ever been, but they're still messing with you, and I'm going to fix you. I'm going to defend that for you. I think she would have done much better because she would be talking directly to the people involved. Hello, daily consideration. So, I think we have what we have, and I think we're going to do great. I think we're going to come out of it perfectly. That's excellent. Live in the present moment. Exactly right. Biblical Beyond Belief. Welcome back. Who is Marcy? That's here you go. Marcy did it herself. See, that's how far behind I am, guy. So I'm going to tell you that you're probably Christian because this fear of death and judgment is a uniquely Christian thing, really. The concepts and constructs of hell and damnation and judgment come from the theologians more so than even the Bible. Dan McClellan just did an amazing video talking about hell and how it's actually more medieval than it is biblical. So I think that's the idea of that. Now let me tell you something else, something that takes your fear of death and judgment. I have been very fortunate in my life to experience the other side 3 times. It is pure love without any fear. When I had that experience, people say, well, yeah, but you didn't do bad things. If you're afraid of judgment, it's because you believe you've done bad things. That's strictly it. If you're afraid of the judgment, it's because you believe you've done bad things. If you take this present moment and just start living it lovingly and beautifully and treating each moment with kindness and compassion, then when you cross over, there's nothing to be judged for anyway. But it comes down to the fear of death. What is the fear of death? Most people fear death not because of death, but because of what's on the other side. That's the entire meaning of the to be or not to be speech by Hamlet. To be or not to be, that is the question. Whether 'tis nobler in the mind to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, or to take arms against a sea of troubles, and by opposing in them. To die, to sleep no more. By a sleep to say we end the heartache and the 1,000 natural shocks that flesh is heir to. 'Tis a consummation devoutly to be wished, to die, to sleep no more. But then he goes on, and he says, to sleep perchance to dream, aye, there's the rub. For in this sleep of death, what dreams may come when we have shuffled off this mortal coil, must give us pause. There is the calamity that there is the calamity that makes of prolonged life. I'm messing it up now. There is basically he's saying no one would go to death if they thought it was going to be a bad experience. They would not take their life because they don't know if it's a good or bad experience. Well, I'm going to tell you right now, I have crossed over 3 times, and it was so good I didn't want to come back. Right? I have that feeling of pure love, pure joy. There's no fear in perfect love, and the other side is perfect love. And so the key to this is for you is to you get very present and look at your own self-doubts and your own self-worth and come to that place of being very present in being the amazing person that you are. I'm going to try to turn my live stream back on here because it helps me. Okay. So, anyway, I hope that helped you, Theo. I love the present age too there, my friend. But what I would say to you at this moment is exhale. Don't focus on the bad, focus on why. Why would they vote for somebody like that? Because he made them feel like he would defend them. He made them feel like they had their back. He made them feel in some way loved. And they weren't feeling the love the other way. So the way we fix this is to start loving them. Start showing them the love and compassion that they're missing. Hello, Sybil, lurking from work. It is so fast tonight. That you're right about that, Sarah. It is really fast. The chat, I mean. Coming down. Love this question. How do we keep our minds on oneness with each other in the midst of such division? I often tell the story about the guy yelling at me with his finger up to my nose, calling me an MFer. In that moment, all I did was exhale. I released my fear-based reaction to his verbal assault. He never touched me. He lurched at me, tried to make me have a reaction. When you turn the other cheek and you exhale and you release your fear-based reaction, then you're in your cognitive reasoning. The way I was able to get out of that situation was because I had exhaled, because I had come to that understanding that this person in front of me who's part of my oneness of God has a fear, has an anxiety. I just started listening to what he was saying, and I found out very quickly through his own words that he was afraid of not making enough money. And when I look at it from that perspective, I could alleviate his fear. I could find ways to alleviate his fear. And when I did that, we ended up resolving it very peacefully. And he worked for that show for years after that. So it really comes down to understanding your oneness in regards to, I don't know what's going on here. Your oneness in regards to the idea of everything around you is just something that you either act towards or react towards. And if you stay in action rather than reaction, then you find out very quickly that you get to alleviate fears as opposed to being a part of accelerating fears. And so you stay in the calm state within yourself. You know, the walking on water story. The third one was the Luke version where the apostles are in the boat, the storm's raging, they're all terrified they're going to drown, the boat's about to capsize, and Jeshua walks by, showing them that the storm is in their head, and if they calm themselves, the storm can't affect them. And so when you look at it from that perspective, you releasing your fears and your anxieties, you calm the storm. The hurricane will dissipate when you, who's at the eye of the storm, calm the eye. And I hope that makes sense. Let's see. Can you? Okay. Oh, so anyway, who do we have next? Mackenzie. Teacher's timeout. Thank you so much for. Thank you so much for the super chat and the donation. That's tremendously nice of you. I seem to be having real big technical difficulties this evening. I hope you guys are all still there. Once again, please let me know if I am. Because I am definitely having weird stuff happening on my computer today. I don't know what's going on. Maybe if I turn this one off. I don't know. So let me just continue on with what I can do. Okay. Driving down. Tark, I appreciate that. I appreciate that you're saying that it's you keeping your opinions to yourself, but you're saying people should take a breather. I agree. People should exhale and let the vitriol fall. Like I said on that one video I made, I had 40% of them I had to delete because of the vitriol being thrown directly at me by people who didn't believe as I did. And some of them were not on the opposing side of the party. Some of them didn't believe that taking a breath, that I should be not telling people. They started accusing me of being not paying attention, and I'll be like one of those people who didn't take the Nazis seriously and all that. I don't buy into the vitriol. It's just not my thing. What can I say to my wife to get her to heal herself from a bad health problem? What can I say to my wife? What can I say to my wife to get her to heal from herself from a bad? I'll tell you what, honestly, Stan, the thing you could do that would be the most valuable to your wife is to get her to laugh and get her to feel the fearless present moment. Make her life joyful. The more you can make her life joyful, the more you're allowing her body to relax. The more her body relaxes, she's living fearless moments. The Gnostic Gospel of Mary Magdalene says all ailment comes from fear. And since it all comes from fear, it comes down to the idea that we have to alleviate our fears to alleviate our ailments. And so in that regard, alleviate the ailment, and you'll have the health concern basically abate. But it comes down to but it comes down to you actually having the ability to get her to let her body relax. And, you can also tell her things like, it is your faith that heals you. What you think you become, you create your world. Thought by thought, you forge your destiny. These are all universal truths from Buddha, the Bhagavad Gita, and from Joshua. So, give her words of encouragement that she has the power. So, Jenny Brown, I've been thinking about the future holds after the results of the election. Now, my friend Jenny Brown has been focused on Florida for a while, and she's been creating an amazing experience. And suddenly she said, okay, I'm going to take actions towards moving to Florida. Next thing that happened was suddenly Florida started to open up for her. Suddenly she started having opportunities that would show up. It's the same thing with every other part of our lives. We can create. We have the ability to create. The future is not set. It's not fated or destined. We are creating it in the present moment. When you look at this world from the perspective of we're like a boat in a river, and the water only shows the shape of the boat we put in it. And so you take that boat and you put a boat of positive future and love and compassion, and we just work our way to that until we hold it in our hands. We just believe it and keep working forward. Exhale. That's the best advice I'll ever give anyone. So I hope that answers your question. Let me jump down. Let me turn that one off first. All right, if you guys are still seeing me, please let me know, because I am having very weird technical stuff here, and I am not seeing even my camera, but I think you're still hearing me. So please let me know whether you are. Moving on. We got about 20 minutes left of this live stream, and then I'm going to... okay. Not all of them. Let me just say this. Not all Trump supporters are hateful. I know several Trump who are beautiful, loving, caring people. They just believe differently. They just have an understanding that is different from yours and mine. But the thing is, you being angry at them only intensifies the anger on both sides. It just escalates the argument. Right now, if you feel they're being hateful, understand that any negative emotion is fear. They have fear of not being right. They have fear of the other side and what they might do to our country. It's just as we do. And it comes down to understanding that we, in this moment, can understand that they're fearful too. And it's like that woman who was in my backyard in 2020. She said she had set Joe Biden's sign on fire. And I said, I like you, so we're never going to talk about politics. And we never did, and she made me Christmas cookies. It comes down to understanding people are just people. And people are swayed by charismatic figures on both sides. And when the charismatic figure has figured out a way to use a story in either direction to get someone to believe and follow them, then, it's an interesting concept. So I would say if you can't respond to them in a more loving way, exhale and just say, okay, that's theirs, not mine. That's their belief. Because the reality of it is in the book of Matthew, it talks about false prophets and knowing them by their fruit. False prophets and knowing them by their fruit. What is their fruit? The way they treat people, right? So if they're yelling and screaming and hollering, they're living a hateful, harmful, hurtful lives. They can't be enjoying it. They can't be enjoying it. And the only way we can show them anything different was to be something different. Show them love and compassion. Show them it's okay. One of my favorite stories that I've seen on the news in the past several years was the neo-Nazi who went to have his final swastika removed, but he insisted that his black social worker be there because he wanted her to be there so he could show to her that he was no longer thinking that way any longer. People can change, but it's a matter of showing them love and compassion first. It's the only way. It's the only way. Fighting only creates more fighting. Escalation creates escalation. And when you stay in hateful at them because they're hateful at you, you're not recognizing that part of the oneness of God is hateful because they're fearful. And you can literally release that. Thank you for this next question. Any thoughts on the possibility of aliens coming for a visit? I'm just curious. I think we would be ridiculous to think that we're alone in this universe. I think that this universe is so vast and so infinite that consciousness is everywhere. The idea that there are higher consciousness out there that know more. I've had visits from people who I know were far more aware spiritually than I. Why do I know that? Because they walked up to me and started talking to me by name about things that where I was on my spiritual journey and helped me past it. I also, when I was a child, my sister Patty, if she's still here, might remember my family abandoned me in Fenwick Island one time. No, I'm kidding. My whole family went to Fenwick Island. I was 5. And somehow I got separated. I could tell the whole story. I could tell you exactly why and how, but they loaded up the van and they left and forgot that I was there or left me behind because they had so many kids. And I came back over to my godmother's trailer and I sat on her porch. It was her summer house. And I sat on her porch and I cried and I cried. And this little boy walks up. He says, what's wrong? I said, they left me here. He says, well, you don't worry. They've already turned around and they're coming back. This is what the boy says to me. And he sits there and he sat there and he talked to me and talked to me. He says, it's okay. You don't worry about it. It's okay. And then suddenly he says, okay, they're here now and you're going to be okay. They're coming around the corner. And he went around the back of their trailer as my family came around the other side of the trailer and picked me up. So the whole time I was sitting there, this young little blonde-haired boy who knew that my family had already turned around, who were 10 miles up the road. They had already gotten that far away. And I think that there are much greater aware individuals in our universe, and I think that there is a possibility for them to come to visit us. Sure it is. 100% sure it is. Keeping going. Are you asking if past life regressions are something you pay for? Yeah, I paid for mine. But here's something I'll say about past life regressions. Go to a doctor of hypnotherapy, doctor of hypnotherapy who does past life regressions. Don't do it from someone who learned it from an online course. Don't do it because there's a very big difference between just simply hypnosis and real hypnotherapy, and you need a doctor of hypnotherapy to do it. Hypnosis, which is what most of the online stuff is doing, is a tool, but in hypnotherapy, they use that tool differently than the online folks do. They are using it just like it's a stagecraft, which is pushing towards suggestibility. If you have a good past life regression, I went to my regressionist the first time a week before my regression, and she guided me through a meditation so I could train for a week with her voice. And she sent me home, and I did meditations all week with her voice. So by the time the regression came around, I was attuned to her voice, and it was very comfortable for me. I was relaxed into her voice. So it was it's very therapeutic and very clinical. And that's important because the clinical nature keeps the emotions. It also keeps the belief systems of the person regressing you out of your psyche. Oh, intuitively led by Kristen. Hello. I'm glad I came back too. Thank you very much. Trent, this is an interesting question. What do I feel like to have a past life regression? I have known people who have had just massive amount of information come through, but no visual, no any of that. I've had people who had visuals, but no anything else, like a silent movie playing in their head. I was a bizarre one. I had complete visceral awareness. I could smell the fish. I could feel the rocks. It was as if my consciousness had kind of flipped places. The thoughts in my head were the conversation with the regressionist, and so I literally felt like I was physically in the place. And if you listen to my regression, and there's a video on my channel called 2 Moments from My Regression. I don't watch that video, or I don't watch my regression, listen to my regression anymore, because both of those things make me cry. And by the way, if you're sensitive to emotional things, that video and my regression, you literally hear me at the foot of the cross screaming. So I wanted to give you a heads up. If you don't want to hear those kind of things, then that video and the regression are not for you. But I was literally having every visceral awareness of being where I was at the time. And so, for me, it was definitely my mind making things up. People ask me questions like that all the time. Let me go back to that one again, because I also am a very, very skeptical mind. And at the time I had my first regression, I was extremely skeptical. And I was trying to disprove it. And the first thing I saw was bare legs. And I said, well, that's it. I can't be an apostle because they always wore robes. What I was wearing was known as a fisher's coat. It was a Galilean one-piece bathing suit that the fishermen of Galilee wore because if you were wearing robes in the boats, you get sucked under by the robes. And so I was actually wearing the precise thing that I would have worn, which I didn't know until after the regression. Also, on the front of the boats, there was this spire that has like a C-shaped hook on it. And I discovered very quickly that the C-shaped hook was designed for... Actually, you throw the nets and you would take a rope and you put it in that C-shaped hook, and it was like using it like a pulley, because you were pulling the net beside the boat by having it hooked on the C-shaped hook at the front of the boat. Never heard of that before. Did the research, found it after the regression. So I was validating historical things after the regression to basically make me feel confident that what I was experiencing was real. Hello, Cindy Craven. Welcome, welcome. We are glad you are here as well. Thank you for coming and visiting us. Tell us a story of Joshua. Tell us a story of Joshua. Yeah, I can. I can tell you a story that people don't know. People used to ask me all the time about healing, about did I witness miracles and healing. And one of the stories that I very viscerally remember was seeing a lamb, a little lamb with a broken leg, hobbling, and this little girl just crying and crying and crying and crying. And he goes over to the lamb and he picks up the lamb, and I don't know whether he healed the leg or set the leg, but I do know that the whole experience was not about the lamb. It was about healing her sadness, healing her feelings. And it was dramatic in that, he turned and he just showed her love and compassion in that moment. And the lamb was actually secondary to that story, which I thought was really a beautiful, beautiful story. I hope that answers your question there. I thank you for this interesting personal question. I love that. When I was a kid, I had artistic talents, my mom told me. And I used to draw and sketch all the time. And she ended up putting me into the Rehoboth Art League's class for painting at a very young age. And I started painting, and I got as a kid, I was really into it. I won the William A. Horn Award for Excellence in Painting as a kid. And it was a beautiful, lovely, wonderful experience. And when I was, a lot of kids, when they were kids, they were going out and they were buying, toy guns. I did that too, but, but I used to love to hop on my bike and ride to the art store and buy new paint colors. That was one of the things that I loved. But so thank you for that question. Albina Akramova. What an amazingly cool name. Welcome to all from Florida. Welcome to you as well. We're so glad you're here. You know what? If you are more inspired, that is one of the most wonderful things you could say to me, is to let me know that you yourself are more inspired, because that's the goal, is that you stepping into your power of living love. You understand God is love. And when you are being loving and you are being caring, you are doing the things you love and you are expressing love, you are delivering God to the world. You are the delivery method of God. And when you think about it, I said earlier, they call it the breath of God, but you're the one breathing it. You're the one who's putting it out there. So you're the one who is the delivery method. And so we do this just by being loving, being caring, showing love, showing compassion, doing things we love, laughing, experiencing those moments. And in those moments, we find just beautiful expressions of God being lived in this exact moment. Honestly, Ogden, which is also a very Ogden Enigma, cool name. I like names. Can you tell? That's because my name is John Davis, the most generic name in the world. I don't remember the exact moment, but I do know that was the teachings because I came back especially from the regression, with the understanding that our world is a place where we experience our fears and anxieties so that we can know and feel our separation from God. And in that regard, it really is a representation of that oneness, understanding that the person across from you is fearful. That means something in there is fearful. They're eliciting a fear in you. That response, that anger, that frustration, they are eliciting the response, and you can choose in that moment to turn the other cheek, to exhale, come back to that moment, and just love them fully. I see that right now we're up to, is that 580 people on our stream? Thank you guys for making this the largest live stream we've ever done. I totally appreciate you being here, and thank you for being here. Let me keep on going down. Corbin, I do not have that memory. I will probably go a little long tonight. If any of you, Marcy and Ashley, if you have to jump out, I'm going to go a little longer tonight because there's so many people. So let me make sure. If you have to go, it's okay. I'll take over. What you just let me know when you're going. So I don't know if you had any about teaching regarding feeling at home everywhere, anywhere. I don't have that at all. Keep on going down. Well, you guys are really kicking butt on this here. Marsha Barnett. Okay, I'm hearing you. This is the "we hear you" section of this. I think you guys are literally kicking the butt out of my live stream here. Keep going down. Let me talk about this for a second, because the Bible itself is a collection of writings, mostly by Greco-Roman Christians, somewhere between 70 and 200 years after the crucifixion. And we know that even the Hebrew Bible, which became the Old Testament, which is what the Dead Sea Scrolls were, the Dead Sea Scrolls never mentioned Jesus. But in that regard, they have gotten to the point of understanding that he had the understanding that God and he were one. Father and I are one. You must become one with me as I am a father. Those references of father are coming from a very patriarchal time. And it's one of the reasons why I like in Islam, they call God Allah. And the reason is because Allah has no gender. It's not male nor female. It's just God. It takes the patriarchal thing out of it. And that to me is very fascinating. Very fascinating that's the place that it's happening, is that in Christianity, they're holding on to that patriarchal ideal. And, that's why women can't become priests. They have to stay nuns. And so in that regard, it's like the father is from an ancient time, pushing the ancient patriarchy. And that's not what Joshua taught at all. So I wouldn't say it's in any way, shape, or form a a validation of his ideas about God being a male. Hello, Joe Wardzella from Delaware. I was born in St. Francis Hospital, Wilmington, Delaware. Lived in Rehoboth Beach, Delaware most of my life. And so, yeah, I'm going to keep going down, see if I can catch up with some of you people. This question, is it okay to believe that reincarnation is a choice? I don't think that you should ever ask anybody, is it okay? The world is a construct of belief. If you believe it's a choice, then believe it's a choice. My mom said spirituality is a personal journey. You choose what fits right for you and live into it. And there's nobody on this planet, in this world, that can tell you that this is the right thing, this is the wrong thing. If you're doing that, you're living their life and not your own. Is it okay to believe that reincarnation is a choice? If reincarnation is a choice, then believe that's a choice. The physical world is just your construct. When we all cross over, we have a different idea. We go over and we have a complete new awareness of what this world is. For me, I think this place is just an experience of separation from God. And in that separation from God, we come to know God more fully by feeling our separation, feeling that absence, feeling our fears and anxieties. And in those fears and anxieties, it comes to a place of understanding that we can eradicate the fear, just like the Buddha said. The secret to enlightenment is the eradication of fear. You let go of that fear and you let go of that anxiety and you come to those things more fully. Now, if you believe in the reincarnational cycle, that is also the way you end that reincarnational cycle. You bring the kingdom of heaven to earth. You bring yourself fully to love without fear here. And you have basically in the religious reincarnational cycle, the Hindu version and the Buddhist version as well, you realize your fearless state in the physical, and supposedly that's how you end reincarnation. So it really is up to you what you want to believe, but every religion, every ideology is a choice. And you can choose to believe anything you want. But here's my thought. When you choose one, it's like getting on a train. You're going to only see out the window the things that one track that's planted in the ground will show you. But when you step back and you look at all the tracks going everywhere, you see a bigger picture. And you find out that God is too big and too beautiful to be encompassed by any one school of thought or religion. And so in that regard, is it a choice? Everything's a choice. You choose to believe it and experience it in your life. Hope that answers your question there. And I respect this, but here's the other thing you need to realize in this regard. Prices are going up. Corporate profits are going up. The only people who are being served by this prices going up is the corporations and the profits. The problem that we have with this ideology is we want equality between the corporations and the multimillionaires and the regular people. And the problem is when they do this mix in the economy, what they do try to do trickle down, they have never not crashed the economy. And they are prepared to do it sooner this time because both Donald Trump and Elon Musk both said, we're going to crash the economy so we can fix it. So be prepared for much higher grocery prices because they declared that that's what they're going to do. So just prepare and understand, okay, I'm going to prepare. I'm going to choose to live a loving time. I'm going to make sure that I'm covered in my own place. What's my opinion of Trump supporters? It's an interesting question. I have several in my family. I will love every one of them till the day I don't know them anymore, which I think I'll never not know them. If any one of them called me right now, I would hop in my car. This live stream would end, and I know we're at our biggest live stream ever, but I would hop in my car, and I would leave this live stream to go for any one of my family at any given time. There are some in my family who would never do the same for me. But my job is only to be responsible for how I love, not how others love. And I can understand where they are in that space, and I can love them completely and unconditionally. Same thing with any other Trump supporters. I know many Trump supporters. That lady in the backyard who told me she burned her neighbor's Joe Biden sign. I said, I like you, so we're not going to talk about politics, and we never did again. I've had in my private sessions, I've had many Trump supporters come in, and we've had very clear, easy conversations. We steered clear to vitriol and anger. We just talked about equality. We said we don't believe the same, but that's okay. It's just like a Christian saying to a Muslim, "I don't believe the same as you, but we can still be friends." The idea that they have to believe as you, that's just narcissism. And it's a matter of are you someone who is so fearful and holding on to it, as opposed to simply saying, okay, why are they being the way they are? So I don't. And also, here's another thing about this statement. I don't like broad generalizations of any segment of society. I don't like when women are marginalized. I don't like when gay people are marginalized. I don't like when white people are marginalized. I don't like when Hispanics are marginalized. I think broad generalizations of any segment of society is wrong, because I've been to 30 countries around the world. I've met every kind of race you could possibly imagine. I have found beautiful people in every place I've gone. And when I ask them all what's the most important thing to them, the number one thing they've always said is my family. Now, what is your family? It is the representation of love you have here on earth. I think they're just like you and me. That's why Sting said the Russians love their children too. And so I think there's a lot of people in the world who are out for power and money, and they're doing things to get it. And I think that's, we need to figure out a way to come back to a more equal society. And I think we'll work it. When comments turn to politics, I have a lovely sister named Patty who says, I don't talk about politics. Right? And that's great. It's perfect. Because that way you don't have to think about the things that make you angry and frustrated with their beliefs. Their beliefs are their own. Let them have them. But show them a more loving, beautiful, a loving and more beautiful way to be. People are looking for a light in the world. Well, the way you help them find it is to be the light. Be the light so they can see the light. You can't save the world, but you can make your part of the world so bright that the people around you choose to save themselves. And then next thing you know, the people around them are choosing it as well. And we can change this world in beautiful and loving ways. I'm going to keep going down. Intrusive thoughts are subconscious beliefs. Subconscious beliefs are coming in from past experience. The Bible discusses this really easily. It says you must become as a child to enter the kingdom of heaven, and you must be born again. And when you look at it from the idea of born again, you're going back to a moment before belief. And so in my mind, in my mind, it's a matter of you stepping into the idea of understanding that you have the ability in this present moment to exhale, come back to this present moment. Here's something else. Turn on a comedy. Find something to really laugh at. As I've said many times on my live streams, go into YouTube and just type in Honky Pete and watch it. You'll laugh out loud. When you are laughing out loud, you have the two key elements of every big spiritual experience. You are present moment and you're fearless. In that moment, you're not having intrusive thoughts because you're just being present and fearless. And that is the doorway to God. That is the doorway to the expression of a beautiful life. That is the way. We will be okay, so it's okay. Act okay. Okay. I did not see that. I did not see that, but I want to take this comment to say I have a lot of people who have, in the comments on my videos in the past couple of days, who told me that DJT was a God ordained, that God chose him in this moment, and he is the Savior. And I've heard very crazy things that are based in this biblical idea that Trump is the next Christ. And I think that's just dangerous, and it can't end well for anybody on that one. It didn't end well for Joshua. I'm going to try to zoom down here a little bit. Jhon, exhale. Patty, thank you. I know I'm way behind you guys. I just saw in my, just so you guys know, I just saw in my feed here as I'm going down, Chitra say it's 8:30. So that's how far behind I am. I can understand it. When you say use the word how, you are literally declaring you're not friends with them. How can I continue to be friends? Because the word how means I have to figure out how to be friends, how to continue to be friends. That means it's not happening now. So be friends or not be friends, but you have to be the one who understands that the reason they went the way they did is because they had their own fears and anxieties, just like you do. If so, start with exhaling yourself, and then ask them what they were afraid of, and talk to them about what they chose him because he convinced them he was the good thing. So ask them why. Find out, but don't say, this is what I believe, what do you believe? Don't say, why did you, blah, 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 because that's just accusatory. Stay in this moment, stay in your compassion, understanding that they did the things they did out of their own belief system. And, in reality, it really comes down to understanding that we're all one and we all can live in this world together without causing anxiety and stress. Jumping down. I'm going to try to speed up here. I may skip a few questions, and I apologize in advance. Man. Jumping down. Oh, thank you, Theo Gutenberg, for the super chat I just saw, which I'm sure happened a long time ago. Actually, Tritarch, you are not the only T supporter here. I know other people on this thread who are also as well. And so, so there you go. Jumping down, seeing a bunch of people telling me I'm here and I sound still good. Almost to 700 people up there, 678, I think. I am enjoying the discussion, Carolyn. Thank you. I enjoy these moments, these live streams. I try to live my life enjoying it anyway. I laugh at everything. You watch my video, I laugh at everything. I giggle at my coffee. It's because I truly choose to live a loving life. That's why this is the Live Loving live stream. Live in a joyful, loving way, and you'll have a joyful, loving life because you're creating it into your experience. See the love in this. Jenny Brown telling Tritarch that she's respect your opinion and love anyone who is here regardless of who you support. That's why I love this amazing community that we've created here. It is very compassionate, it's very loving, it's very caring, and it comes down to you can be here, you can understand, and I want you guys to know that in this is a safe place. But the second you make it an unsafe place, you're gone. Because I find out very quickly, anybody comes on harsh, angry, using foul language, gone in a second. And I'll tell you an interesting thing. I giggle when I do it. I go, ooh, I actually type bye-bye, and I hit hide from the channel. Because my channel, my stuff is a safe place for people. And I had a guy come on one time who was a born-again Christian, and he said, Jhon, you seem like a nice guy, you seem like a caring guy, you feel like an honest guy, but I would be wrong if I didn't try to save you and bring you back to Jesus. And then he said, I know that I'm going to be crucified by your followers. And I said to him, if anybody on this channel crucifies you, they will be banned from this channel, because you just offered something beautiful and loving to me from your perspective, from your faith. You didn't vitriol. You told me I was kind. You gave me love in your own way, and I recognize and appreciate it. Love is the thing that matters. The doctrines, the dogmas, the religions, and all they do not they do not in any way, shape, or form negate love, negate fears and anxieties. So where did I lose my cursor again? Okay, there you are. Okay. Alex, they have their choice and understand that they are fearful as well. And but your concept has to face God one day. This is a Christian judgment belief. God is love. God is not judgment. Old Testament God is vengeful and jealous. New Testament God is love. And as you go further down the Abrahamic line, or up the Abrahamic line, from Christianity to Islam to all the way up to Baha'i, by the time you get to Baha'i, it's completely loving. And my only experiences I've had with crossing over is it's pure love. There's not judgment on the other side. It's understanding and awareness on the other side. So don't fear being them. For them, they're going to figure it out anyway. When they cross over, they're going to see how they experience life, how they treated people. It's not going to be a hurtful, harmful thing for them. They're just going to understand more. They're going to understand what love really is. So I hope that makes sense to you. Keeping on down, keeping on down. Guys, I'm going to go for another 15 minutes. That's an extra half hour longer than we normally do. And I thank you, Chitra, for trying to keep me on point. But there's just too many people here for me not to try to continue on for a little bit longer. Um, Leslie, I think meditation is a way of finding it, but I think until you go past meditation and you come to understanding that the physical world itself is spiritual, that you are already living it in the now, you're in the I am moment. I think you you have to realize that meditation itself is a dogma of religion. I don't do what most best meditation is sleep. So it's a matter of being loving. That is meditation. You can be loving. Um, you can be loving to know that you are already in spirit, because everything is what is spirit? What is spirit? Spirit is the non corporeal. It's the non physical, and in being non physical, what is physical? Everything we're looking at is an energy, event, and motion. It's just atoms. It is non physical. It's just our illusion of belief that we see it. It's coming to understand your divinity through the idea of understanding that this moment is a moment of creation, and you are the pinpoint of that creation. You will see a negative world if you believe in negative things. You'll see a positive world if you do positive things. And the more you put yourself in the state of choosing to live a loving life and expect a beautiful expression of life, what happens is you end up creating that into your experience. And when you create that into your experience, you find that you can change it and make it even better. So anyway, I hope that helped your with your comment there. Um, da, 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 da. We shall see. Wow, I am way behind. I do not in any way, shape, or form give medical advice, and this is not medical stuff. Thank you, lawyers. I just said that. Okay. um, in my opinion, there is nothing in the physical that's necessary. I have witnessed healings, miraculous healings, in real time. I have literally, and I've told the stories about them many, many times on the channel. You can there's probably, if I know correctly, there's probably a healing playlist you can probably find. Um, but I will say, like when someone has Alzheimer's, they start hearing dead people, or they start having experience. Their veil is becoming thinner. They're crossing over into a different awareness, a greater awareness, a more, we're hearing from across the veil, and so it, the idea of blocking clairs, interesting. I think that as people cross over, they're transitioning. And, like Alzheimer's itself is a slow transition, but I think that we are veiled in our fears and anxieties and our experiences of life, and we break down those veils when we cross back over. I hope that answered that question. Duh, 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 duh. So, hell, I'm still seeing Chitra count me down. I love you, Chitra, very, very much. Just so you guys know, I do. Oh, hey guys, I'm understanding that my audio is kicking out, and I think that's because the live stream is so big right now. I will probably end this really soon. Then, if the let me know if the audio is still getting worse and worse, and I will cut out. But we're going to end within the next 10 minutes here. In honesty, D, it's not your job. That's tell them you can tell them you disagree. But if it's your pastor, that means you are in their church and in their domain, and they are the ones in charge, and they're going to talk what they want to do anyway. You could tell them you disagree. Understand, a pastor is just a person too. Don't put him on a pedestal. Don't put that person on a pedestal, because they are just a person too. And being on a pedestal does not give them power. It just gives them height. And so that's my thought on that. And by the way, Ashley, thank you for sending me the text message on the sound. I'm going to zip down, see if I see any more caps. By the way, I'm zipping down, so I have Pamela. My last regression memory from my first regression was seeing him on the beach sometime later after the crucifixion, and I literally dropped on my face in front of him, and I looked up at him, and he laughed at me. But it was after the crucifixion, and he was alive. So people will make that as that this big miraculous thing. In India, you hear stories of gurus all the time who project their consciousness and manifest their body around their consciousness. I think that's probably what he did, and I think that it gives you that understanding that he was a man who just had greater awareness. That's my opinion on it, anyway. And like I said, for my first regression, that's. I'm sorry, Joe. I didn't see the typo, so it's okay. Make sure you guys sign up for Bright Love's channel and for Marcy's channel. It would be a tremendous favor to me if you would do that, please, because these lovely ladies have helped me tremendously on my these live streams. They have been my guardian angels, and I really would like to show my love to them. So everybody on this live stream, click on Bright Love's face, and Spirit made me do its face, and just click the subscribe button to their channel, and just give a listen to what they're talking about, because they're beautiful, loving people, and I love them dearly. Jumping down. I do believe our dreams are messages. I believe our dreams are from the subconscious. I don't necessarily understand if they're messages from the subconscious. Messages would imply that there's this communication that is to do things. I've had so many interesting dreams, but some of the dreams that I've had have been like my dog coming back and licking my face. And the dream, I'm like, "You're still alive?" And I take him with me. I think it really is an understanding. I had a friend named Johnny Fox who called me and left a message on my phone. "Jhon, I haven't talked to you before. I miss you. How are you? What's going on?" And I hadn't talked to him, and I didn't get a chance to call him back. And then I found out he died of cancer. And about a week later, in my dream state, Johnny Fox walks into the room of a stage I used to performed on, and he's standing there, and I go up to him. I said, "Jhon, I'm so sorry I didn't call you back." He said, "That's okay. I still love you," and he hugged me. I think that I think of the world as kind of like scuba diving. We wake up in the morning and we go, we suck a bunch of air in, and we start going through our day with our air. And about 16 hours later, we start going, and we start letting air out, and we go back to a different conscious state in our sleep. So I think that we're scuba diving during the day in the physical and going back up for air in the evening. So that's my thought on that. Oh, I don't know what answer that was. I'm because I'm really going crazy with how much I'm trying to catch up here. Thank you, Larry. Thank you. I'm sorry. I'm sure you're probably already gone by now, but thank you, Nikki. Hello, hello, hello. Oh, thank you, D. Thank you. See, you can talk to people on the other side. It's because people are people. And Honky Pete, by the way, Honky Pete. If you watch Honky Pete, you'll find God. People ask me all the time what spiritual texts I should read. I always tell them I suggest comedies because you'll never closer to God than when you're laughing. Guys, I'm going to end this in about 5 minutes. So if I miss your question, I apologize now. So I apologize for that now. For those of you guys who are new, I thank you so much for being here tonight and understanding that this is a safe place that we can come and be loving. We do this every other Friday night on it's called the Live Loving live stream, and it's specifically about coming together and being love and having conversation and talking and not hating each other, not harming each other, not saying the most horrible things to each other. So I want to make sure that we keep this space in that place. And on my channel, you're going to see comments, and I do my best to put either a heart on every comment or a comment on every comment. I like to keep in communication with you guys. I do have a hard time responding to comments that come after that, though, because there's so many things coming across the board right now. But understand that everything that my goal is in life is to empower you to create the most amazing, loving life that you can have, and understand that you are the one creating it. And even though things may seem scary in the world sometimes, that's because some people out there are also fearful. And some people out there are so in a place of anxiety. And we have the ability to literally be the love in their life so they can lose their fear. Do something kind for someone. Take a moment. I often talk about the idea that if you've got a bunch of extra clothes in your house, put them in a box and drive them to a homeless shelter. Don't take it to Goodwill. Don't take it to those places. Take it to a homeless shelter directly, where it's going to go directly to the people who need it. And if you want to give it to the Salvation Army or whatever, you can do that. But you have much more impact when you deliver it directly to the places they need it. Homeless shelters need the number one and two things that they ask for is socks and underwear. So the next time you're at Target or Walmart or any other place, or even order them on Amazon, pick up some extra ones and just drop them off because they need them. If you have extra camping equipment or any of that kind of stuff, go drop them off to homeless shelters. If you have blankets, sleeping bags, things that will keep them warm during a beautiful night, go do that. And also in this time, understand that blanket, that sleeping bag you give to a homeless shelter, give that same love and compassion to people who think differently than you. Give that same understanding that if they're angry, sad, mad, frustrated, those are all fear-based emotions. Find out what they're fearful about and help them alleviate their fear. If you find that and you help them alleviate their fear, you're going to create a much more beautiful world around you, and you're going to start to experience that more beautiful world in a very much more beautiful way. And we can do this. We can create a beautiful world together, even though right now we might seem like we're apart. We're all one, which means we can just come back together in a loving way and create that world. Anyway, I hope this has been a good live stream for you guys. It's been a very interesting for me. Thank you for all the new people who've shown up. I really appreciate you, and thank you very much. You are always welcome here. You're always welcome to come here and have just a little bit of whatever you get from this. I'm hoping you're getting good stuff from this, and I will be talking to you guys soon. You guys have a great weekend. I'm going to go spend some time with my son and let my voice rest a little bit because I did 12-hour days all week and I had sessions all day today. And by the way, if you're interested in having a one-on-one with me, that's just go to johnofnew.com, and there's private sessions on there you can book with me. I hope that you, if you want to do that. If not, everything I teach is on my channel. But like the sessions and even there's also a store that has my regression and meditations. Those are the things that keep a roof over my head. And I thank you for anything you do to help me do that. And the donations tonight, I really appreciate that. It helps me as well. And if you're ever looking for other ways to help, in the bottom of every video, I have a donation link down there to keep the roof over my head. Thank you, my friends. I love you all. You go out and you have a great day, a great weekend, and I'll talk to you soon. See ya. Bye. Thank you for joining us at the Live Loving live stream. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and visit us at jhonofnew.com.